Andrew, what do you think of Bonnie Blue sleeping with 1,057 men?
Damn.
How honest should I be out of 10?
11.
I want you to be honest.
You want me to be honest?
Yeah, go on.
I don't understand why men sit here and try and lecture you about it. I don't understand why men sit here and say you shouldn't do it. It's your body, your choice, right? This is the world we now live in. This is the end result of feminism.
Yeah,
you are
equality.
the perfect end result of feminism. In the world I believe in the conservative, traditionally masculinely ruled world, a man would be in charge of his daughters until they're handed over to their husbands or boyfriends, and there would be a degree of masculine guidance. But feminism didn't want that. You know, women complain that men don't want to get married. We did actually want to get married when we got obedient virgins, but they disappeared. And they complained about the patriarchy, and they were tired of us giving them a house to live in and kids to raise, and they wanted to make their own choices.
Yeah.
So she's making her own choice. That's a fantastic thing. I actually have a lot of respect for you because you own it and you're honest about it.
What if it was your daughter?
Well, that won't happen.
But she's her own person.
I never said my daughter's her own person. I said women want to be their own people. But my point is, there's so many women who go to Magaluf for a weekend and do something very similar, and then they come back to England and get with some fucking guy and start asking for presents from him and talking about how they deserve a traditional relationship and they want to get married and they want a Christmas present and all this bullshit. Most women do exactly what Bonnie does. I don't see you any different than most women. And I'm not saying that in a degrading way.
Most women don't sleep with 1,057 men in a day.
1,000? Does it fucking matter?
I think it does.
I don't really think it does.
So
it's all disgusting to me. If I met a woman and she said, I just sucked a dick yesterday, I'd say, well, I find you repulsive. I don't want to sleep with you. Goodbye.
So you're only going after virgins?
Well, it's not about only going after virgins, but I think if you're a straight man, the idea of having a bunch of men fuck a woman that you're with is pretty repulsive.
But everyone has a past.
But see, this is the kind of shit white people say. I don't know what's wrong with people. Everyone has a past. That's not acceptable. In fact, let's analyze that. Everyone has a past. You're right. Everyone does have a past. It's true. But isn't the primary objective of a man to find a woman with as little past as possible? Would you argue that's one of the precursors to finding a wife?
Absolutely.
Considering that wives were supposed to be virgins. This was the deal. The reason I'm proud of Bonnie, and I am genuinely proud of you, I like Bonnie. I like what she's doing. Because the deal was...
Are you not like contradicting yourself here?
In what way?
Well, you're proud of her sleeping with 1,057 guys, but women should be virgins.
No, I'm saying that the social contract, the construct of society that made family function was women were obedient virgins and they found a man who provided for them and they listened to that man. Women have then said, we don't like the patriarchy. We're tired of being provided for. We're tired of being taken care of. We don't want to listen to anybody. We want to make our own decisions. That was women and feminism that ended the traditional family unit. And now women can make their own decisions. So I'm glad that Bonnie's making her own decision.
Yeah,
I'm not here to tell you not to do it.
I take women back 100 years. I'm like, no, I'm the clear example of how to be empowered. I use my body. I do what I want, when I want.
True.
And this is the thing you've been banging on about for years. And when I get hate, like when I click on the comments of these women that are like, oh, you're taking us back 100 years. Then in their bio, it says stay-at-home mom of two. I'm thinking, what the fuck was you rooting for?
It actually makes absolutely no sense. You're not taking... This is the future. You know, all them T-shirts that they had back in the day that said the future is female? That's what Bonnie Blue is. Now, to normalize 1,000 bodies into one body, as what Andrew Tate is doing, I do not agree with that. I still think that the numbers, the low-ass numbers matter, baby, because we're so much in the future as females that to expect virgins is literally... It's impossible. And while I agree, watching podcasters talk to Bonnie Blue as if they're trying to fix her makes absolutely no sense. There should absolutely be content that is critiquing what the hell that she is doing, because if you allow women like her to just go unabated, critique-free, consequence-free, you're going to create more versions of them. Normalizing her level of degree of debauchery is the fall of that modern day society. It's gonna be Sodom and Gomorrah, baby. Anyway, let's keep going.
But you have just stayed
That's
at
right,
home.
Bonnie. See, this is the future.
Yeah.
This is the future. This is fantastic. It's exactly what Western society is headed to.
He's a
feminist. Why are we going to sit here and pretend this is not? Why are we going to sit here and pretend that most women who go on girls' holidays aren't doing something similar to what Bonnie does just because it's not on camera? Why are we going to sit here and pretend that these men who walk around with their wives in the pub in England, and they're like, oh, my wife, yeah, everyone has a past. Oh, no, she's done the same shit. What's the difference? Who gives a fuck, right? We're either going to care and accept that women are judged on their past and judged on their innocence and judged on their naivety and judged on these things like it used to be, or we're going to sit and say it doesn't matter, everyone has a past. Well, if everyone has a past, everyone has a past. Who gives a Does it really matter?
So
Anymore?
What would you do if it was your daughter, though?
But why are you asking an impossible question?
Well, it's not an impossible question.
Of course it is.
How?
It can't happen.
Okay, yeah.
But anything can happen.
It's against the laws of physics.
It's not.
I mean, if your
It's
daughter opened her legs and took 1,000 dicks, it's not impossible.
Of course it is.
What? I
Why
mean,
is
the
it
dicks
impossible?
would enter her pussy, therefore she's taken.
It's literally impossible for my daughter.
What, are you going to be there against your daughter's pussy saying that dick's not entering
No,
it?
my daughter just wouldn't make that decision.
But why?
Because I still raise her in a household where she is masculinely guided. And she will be guided by me until I hand her over to some other man.
What's interesting about that is that Andrew Tate has been on record in saying that a father is not needed within presence of kids, right? And I think he was saying that in order to try to explain how often you would see him without children being present. But now he's saying that he's a masculine presence within a life. But I wonder if that is through digital means or more so now in reality, or he's shifting his talking points because one wouldn't make sense without the other. Let's go.
However, I believe when women are left to their own devices, they will only ever make stupid decisions.
Was mine a stupid decision?
I wouldn't say it's any more stupid than most decisions women make, to be honest with you. I think that most women, to some degree, are sex workers anyway. Like,
I mean, yeah.
let's be honest about it, right? Most women look at Miami or Dubai. What's your job? Oh, I've got a boyfriend. So your job is being a girlfriend. And why does he give you money? Because you give him sex. So most women are sex workers anyway, to be honest.
But isn't that what you said the family unit was?
Well, then you're a sex worker with one customer. You know, which is nice. I guess it's better. It's more efficient.
But what about if you're raising children? That's not sex work, is it?
No, that's being a mother.
Yeah.
All right, so that's interesting, Rob. Rob said this, not me. So they're either virgins, sex workers, or mothers. Are those the three categories?
I think you're putting words into my mouth.
I think that's what Rob just said. Those are the three categories.
I'm just sat in the middle.
And women have to choose to be one of them.
So is that what you think?
I think that when a woman becomes a mother, she has a purpose. And I think that women should be having children as soon as possible. And I think it gives their life a direction. And I think it's the most important thing to preserve society, especially if you want to talk about geopolitics and talk about race and all of these things. If you want to have a country that looks like the country it used to be, you need to have the original people from there having children. I think all of that is true. Absolutely. I think every day a woman goes without having kids is primarily a waste of time. But once again, what does it matter what I think? Rob, I've given up. Rob, I've given up trying to save the world. I've given up. No, Rob. I've given up.
Haven't.
I've given up on misogyny and all this shit.
No, you haven't.
They attacked me with the Matrix. They keep throwing me in jail. I am now all for women empowerment. I think women should run around fucking as many men as they want. I like what Bonnie's doing. She's getting the bag. She's getting rich. Most girls out here don't want to have kids. They just want to get Birkin bags and Instagram likes. Good. I'm a feminist, a pro-feminism. This is the world now. How the world's going to end up, who gives a who cares about the future? Doesn't matter.
See, women go around, use sex to their advantage, but then are happy to cry about it straight away. Saying, oh, he took advantage of me. And it's like, you're the one that wanted to do sex to have like the job promotion, or you're the one that wanted to have sex to get more attention or try and be more liked. But then they cry about it. And that's what I get frustrated about. And even with
Listen, the biggest critique of this portion of the interview is going to be Andrew Tate saying things such as, most women are like this. And he's liking it to actions like boyfriend in Dubai or Miami and kind of like what that exchange sort of means. But I think about it a little bit more simpler than that. I think about it as you look at a woman talk to you in public and then you go up on their digital footprint and their social media profile. I mean, shit, take a look at a cross section of what we would review on Pop the Balloon. How often? I would say it was over 50% of the time that we look at a woman that claimed God-fearing, right, that claim that they're looking for a boyfriend or relationship, and you can go see their ass up on their social media profile, thereby leveraging their sexuality as a component of the offering that they show to all of these men, detailing their past or detailing how they will leverage their sexuality, their vaginas, in order to get what the fuck that they want. And that's just the current state reality of the situation. And you got men now that actually want to get married, that want to pursue something with women, but the dating pool has absolute piss in it, degraded by modern day feminism. Modern day feminism has absolutely failed women. It's created this debaucherous, ridiculous ass normalcy amongst them.
with porn stars, like people in my industry, they'll do this for a few years, get the money, get the boob jobs, get the house. And then suddenly they go, oh my God, I was forced into the industry. Oh my God, someone took all my money.
Yeah.
Have you ever considered a job as a lawyer?
Yeah,
No.
she's good.
I could do with you. You're 100% right. So this
And
is
you're
the
trying
false
to
dichotomy
employ
of
her.
society, right? So this is the reason when I said I like what Bonnie does, because Bonnie completely 100% owns what she does, and she says it's my decision. And I've seen people try and lecture you. I've seen people sit there and try and lecture you.
A fool's errand.
And say like, oh, but you're a creature of God, and you shouldn't be doing this. No, you should do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
It's up to you to do whatever you want. And you're not saying anybody tricked you into it. It's your decision. And let's be honest, when they talk about taking women back 100 years, let's actually be very honest here, Rob. No disrespect.
No disrespect.
There's always been whores.
It's the oldest profession.
Ancient Rome had whores. There's always been whores. The Aztecs had whores. You think there weren't concubines in the fucking Ming dynasty? Fucking little Chinese pee-pee? Of course there were. There's always been whores. It's the oldest profession in the world.
Exactly.
So do you think it's a legitimate job?
Well, I mean, no, check her back.
Listen, not only is it was so whores back in the day, right? That's like a poor person's job. But due to the internet and media today, you can be a digital strumpet and e-thought and be a multimillionaire if done correctly. If you got the right marketing team behind you and you was blessed by the God that you have forsaken with the appropriate genetics, you could be a it's absolutely insane what the digitization of vagina has done for whores' bank accounts. It's absolutely insane, baby.
Bang, I'm sure she's making fucking loads of money. So here's where do you draw the line?
Yeah.
If we're going to live in this false dichotomy, because the world was very simple once, not too long ago. And men had this terrible misogynistic view, which I, of course, don't agree with, that women can't make their own decisions because they're naturally chaotic. And when women decide anything, life's fucked up. In fact, these men in their disgusting misogyny
Look at it.
believed if you gave women the vote, we'd end up with open borders and drag queen story hours. So they didn't give women the vote. Then they did give women the vote, and society took a particular direction. But when men were in charge of things, women didn't have to worry about what they can do with their life because their father took care of it and then their husband took care of it. But now we live in a brand new world where women can make all of their own decisions. And the path she's chosen, I don't think is any different than most paths women take. I think she's just more honest about it and more upfront about it. If you're going to go to Dubai and meet a girlfriend and you think she hasn't been fucking for money the entire time she was living in Dubai, then you're an idiot. If you're in Miami and you got girls on your boat and you think they're not fucking for money all of the time. Now, they may not say per hour, but they'll be fucking a guy they barely like to get the rent paid. Or they're fucking a guy they barely like because he has a car.
Yeah.
So women are fucking for money all the time anyway. That's all women do now. The entire Western world is women fucking for money. So how?
And listen, he keeps on using these examples like of rich people problems, and that kind of just shows the amount of money that he has, and he's not really speaking for the average man. But we talk about foodie calls, right? I've told you guys specifically years ago, taking women out on dates and suggesting a particular spot, and it's just not up to their snuff and their standards. Meanwhile, it's like $20 a plate at the place that I was suggesting. That's why the conversation of Cheesecake Factory went so viral about a year or so ago. So although it's not direct, it's an indirect way of saying that you are not paying enough for me.
Hypocritical would it be for me to sit here and say, Bonnie, who's honest, who monetizes it directly with her own media empire, who's upfront about it and makes money from it, is a worse person than the girl who walks around like she's goody two-shoes and then sucks dick in a Magaluf toilet. Because that's what most girls are doing anyway. Rob, the world's fucked. They're all like this. Rob, they're all the same.
Are you trying to say I'm not special now?
No, I'm saying you're special, actually, because you've gone so far through. You've come out as the queen of it.
Queen,
Congratulations.
But didn't you say this kind of thing is the demise of Western society?
I mean, if I was a misogynist, I would believe this is the final end result of feminism and the end times are here and that nobody's going to have kids anymore and that the idea of a beautiful marriage between a man and a woman is now completely gone. I mean, if I was a disgusting misogynist, but since they keep raising...
But you don't have one beautiful marriage, do you?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Have you slept with 1,057 women?
At least.
So are you quite similar?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
Because it's the male's prerogative to impregnate as many females as possible. This is the masculine prerogative. This is biologically my prerogative is to do that.
I think we should do a breeding competition. We'll see if you can get a girl pregnant quicker than I can get pregnant.
Well, I mean, that'd be a good competition. I think I'd win. I don't know. I'm not sure about that one.
I don't know either.
It's interesting because it's interesting because you have to look at society. When you look at these things, you have to look at society from an animalistic perspective and a societal perspective. From the animalistic perspective, it is the masculine imperative to get as many women as possible pregnant.
Yeah, but
If you want to, but if you want to be purely
it's not
animalistic,
1512.
no, but let's be purely animalistic. Let's talk about this like professionals. If a man is high value, high testosterone, alpha male, whatever you want to call him, right? His imperative is to impregnate women. And he wants to take care of those women and take care of those kids. He's not overly interested in the kids. It doesn't mean he doesn't love them. It means he doesn't want to sit there and play with them all day. When you see a man who wants to play with a baby all day, that man is probably gay. It's boring.
Well, it doesn't mean he wants to fuck the kid.
No, he's gay. Gay. So real men just want to pregnant, money, cool. See you an hour a week. Boom, boom, boom. Now, there's a lot of men who are going to disagree with me on that, but those are a lot of men I can beat the shit out of, so I don't give a f. That's the truth of it. The female imperative is to find a man who's obsessed with her so that when she gets pregnant, she's going to have protection and provision when she's not capable of looking after herself. That is the female biological imperative and the masculine biological imperative. I'm still living to my biological imperative to some degree. If I were to, let's say, have 4 or 5 women and I had kids with 4 or 5 women and I took care of 4 or 5 women and I was with all of them and they were exclusively only with me and we had children over and over and over again, that's my biological imperative. It's actually against the female biological imperative to do what Bonnie is doing, I would argue, traditionally. But that means you break paradigms. That's great. But feminism and society and this brand new societal conditioning is convincing women that what they're supposed to do, which is find a man they love and be obsessed with him and get pregnant from him, is the wrong thing to do. Well, then let's all just become sex workers now.
But you disagree with that feminist program.
I don't have an opinion, Rob, because I have 14 criminal cases. I don't have an opinion. I'm just here. I'm a commentator. I'm just commentating.
Commentators have opinions.
I don't have an opinion. No, I don't have an opinion. Women can do whatever they want. Women are fantastic. We live in this great society now where women are girl bosses and better than us, while also are equals at everything, while also everything they do they regret was a man's fault somehow, as Bonnie described. They were tricked into it. So we live in this impossible situation where a man can't possibly win anyway, no matter what opinion he had. But I'm just saying it would be unprofessional and hypocritical of me to sit here and think that Bonnie is doing anything different or anything bad or anything wrong when she does the same thing 99.9% of Western women do anyway.
Okay, so Bonnie...
You get one extreme to the next. You get the women like me that are just sluts, and then you get the others that are lazy and won't even get on their knees and give a blowjob.
And they're sluts too. No, but this is the thing. They're sluts too. They're just sluts for a different guy, or they were sluts for their ex, and they're not sluts for the new guy. These women are sluts too. It's all the same.
Like, I used to be a full service sex worker, like an escort. And I used to judge men that cheated. And then when I actually started speaking to these men, I was like, you know what? They've got a point. They're going to work. They're looking after their kids. They're still emptying the dishes because the wife's now refusing to do that, saying it should be equal. And then I say, well, when's the last time she gave you a blowjob? When's the last time she fucked you? They couldn't name it. They couldn't even list the amount of times where they've had sexual intercourse. I'm like, of course you're going to need that. Of course you're going to cheat. So how can I ever say women are anything but lazy and poorly educated?
So do you think you're a good role model for women?
I'm a clear example of what women have fought for years. Of
what?
Taking control of your body.
Correct.
Being independent. I earn my own money. I don't rely on a guy. I'm
Girl
paid
power.
Exactly. I'm paid more than other guys.
100%.
Do you think...
She is a clear example of what women have been fighting for years. Absolutely correct.
And now
I'm not going to sit here and lecture you about God. I'm not going to sit here and no, that's all bullshit. She is a clear example of what women have been fighting for years.
Yeah.
Women believe that they can do whatever they want.
Do you think they should be able to?
Listen, brother, I have 14 criminal cases. I don't want to be called a misogynist by the BBC. That would break my heart. That's not up to me. We're all individual sovereign people, and we make our own decisions. This
is going to be a 2.5-hour conversation of Andrew Tate trolling, and I'm absolutely here for it.
Women want to run around and do whatever they want to do. It's up to them. My point is, all women, on some scale, are doing what Bonnie Blue is doing. However, Bonnie Blue's just the best at it. She's the best. She's the queen of it. So why? It's
not all women are doing.
Let me ask you a question. If a man walks into Starbucks and steals a chocolate bar, he's a thief. Yeah, correct.
Not in London.
Well,
it's legal.
Yeah. And if a banker manages to liquidate a ton of stock illegally in the stock market or rip off a bunch of people with a false investment fund, whatever it is, he's a thief, right? The morality is the same. Whether you're stealing from the Wall Street or you're stealing from Starbucks, the morality of it is the same. But people will sit there and argue that the banker is somehow worse than the guy who stole the chocolate bar because of how much he stole. I wouldn't argue there's a difference in morality. There's a difference in capability. But the morality is the same. The banker's just smarter.
I'm just a clever slut.
You're just very good. She is very good at what she's decided to do. If you're going to be a whore, and most women watching this, and most men, hello, your wife, yeah, her, they're all whores anyway. If you're going to be a whore, no disrespect, you may as well be fucking good at it. Get a media empire, get rich, let everyone know your name, and get paid. Why are you going out to the pub, getting drunk, and meeting a man who's funny, and getting fucked in a toilet for free? Are you dumb?
They are, though. Women are stupid.
They're stupid. So Bonnie's just the smartest. She's the Wall Street banker of this whole shit. I respect that much more than these other girls. Rob, I grew up in Luton, England, bruv. You think I don't know hoes? You think I haven't seen it? You think I haven't walked in the toilet and some bitch has got 5 dudes hanging out of her? This is the Western world. This is feminism. This is what all you white boys wanted. All you white men listening to women all the time, women get to opinions all of a sudden. This is what you built. Congratulations.
So you blame men?
Well, 100% I blame men because everything's men's fault because men are the only ones who can apply force to scenarios. Women can't apply force. Men apply force. If there's something we don't like, we apply force to the situation. We could force this away. We could force most things away. So everything's absolutely men's fault. And this came from, the feminism and the women's sexualization and the liberation, a lot of it came from beta males hoping to get some pussy. That's what it came from. Bunch of weak men, though. If we told girls to be hoes, I might get a little bit. Because the natural order of the universe is the big gorilla, top G, smart. I'm so fucking smart. The big gorilla, top G, has a bunch of women, and then the small gorilla has nothing. This is the natural order of the universe. It's actually kind of still like that in many ways. There's a guy with the yacht with 10 wives, and then there's a guy with no yacht with no wife. It's kind of like that. But beta males didn't like that because they couldn't obviously compete with the top guy. So they've tried to push this sexual liberation, hoping to get a little bit of pussy, and it probably works a little bit. But society's destroyed by extension. If you want to look at society for what it is, because what is society anything other than rearing and raising children? That's what society should be, I would argue. Society should be, the primary function of it should be, let's have kids so that we have a population. We have a population collapse in the West.
Yeah, I think they should have a choice. I before used to think, oh my God, I really want kids, I want a family. But it's because I was so naive to what else was open to the world. I just thought, okay, I need to get married. I need to, have children. I need to get a good job. And that was what I thought life was. And then I was like, fuck, there's so much more to life rather than just staying in that, finishing school, going to uni, getting married, buying a house. And you just copy everyone else. Like half the shit we do is because someone else has done it.
Okay, Bonnie, so let me ask you a question. I agree with you that now that we've opened up female horizons with education, with jobs, with the capability of making money, with Instagram and all these offers they get to fly around the world and all these things, women don't want to have kids or they want to have kids later because they have a lot more options. I agree with you. But would you argue, if you were to look at it selflessly, not about the ant, but about the ant farm at large, that keeping women's horizons more narrow so they focused on rearing children would be better for society than the current society we're in, where we have to import a whole bunch of knows who's into the country to try and maintain a population because the white people aren't even having any kids because the white women are too busy sucking dicks in Magaluf.
Did you understand that?
To a certain degree, but I also couldn't give a shit. The world's going to shit anyway. So whether or not we've got more kids in it or not, it's regardless. So just live your life the best. You're going to be dead in however many years anyway.
Fair.
So don't stress too much.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
In order to do what a Bonnie Blue does, you have to have like a nihilist view of society. You have to think that we're all going to just burn up in a couple of years. Who gives a shit? Let's live life now. We're all going to be dead in a couple of years. Like you have to have one of those. And I think therein lies the lesson, is that you have these short-term thinkers that can reach high levels of capital gain, right? Financial foundation within their bank account. Meanwhile, they're doing it because they don't give a about anyone around them, and it's only for self. It's for self-interest. Whereas long-term thinkers who are thinking about, right, procreation and legacy, they're making choices or decisions within their life in order to substantiate a life that can be lived after them, right? Having a family, having children, which would require selflessness as opposed to selfishness. And there lies the problem or the struggle in normalizing behaviors like Bonnie. And I'm not saying 1,000 bodies is normal. Obviously, what she's doing is not normal, but then normalize the behavior of having 5 guys hanging out of you like Magaluf, like Andrew was just saying. But even if you don't think that is normal, dudes that travel know what it is. You traveling to certain places, you meet that group of girls. You know for damn sure that some of those girls got boyfriends, but as they are traveling, they just doing whatever they think that they need to do. Now, depending upon the crew, due to the sexual liberation, you'll have the girls egging each other on just as much as the guys, whose biological imperative is to procreate as much as possible within their friend groups. And what's the results of all of this? More baggage, bigger pass, lower marriage rate, higher divorce rate, higher baby deletion rates, higher STD rates. I mean, this whole shit is like, and on top of all of this, right, you got AI happening in the background. Do you guys realize what's going to happen when AI corn reaches the masses? As real as what the AI currently is, and looking at it on like IG or TikTok clips, when that thing makes it in the corn, and maybe it has, all right? I don't look for it, so I don't even know if it's in the thing. But when that thing, I mean, shit, I might even put a Bonnie Blue out of business, right? Because I would argue that most people that watch it don't even care if the person is real at the end of the day. They just care that the person is doing what they want to do within the content, which is a simple query search away. Let's go.
Fair. And this is what I like about Bonnie Blue. Bonnie Blue is my favorite. This is my favorite everything. Fair. Because what you just said, I understand and I agree with.
But it's selfish.
But what have I
But
said?
why should I not be selfish? Why should I give a shit about someone else that pays less tax than me, has, sits and complains, makes shitty TikToks about me? Like, I couldn't give a shit if your life's going shit. By the looks of it, you live in a council house, you've got a couple of kids with different dads. I don't care. So why should I sit there and think, fuck, I should do something to help you? I don't care. I should focus on myself. And if more people did that, the world would actually be a better place. But they become so fixated on other people. I'm like, where's your life? Why are you not focusing on yourself? Like, look in the mirror, you're fat, go and do something about it. Your teeth have that much plaque on it. Like, you're fucked. Like, there's no way out for you.
No, but what
Is this a good role model?
No, yes, because
yes.
What
yes.
Bonnie's saying is important here, and it's not about what she's saying. It's about the general attitude. Because what I want to make clear, the reason society was run by men for so long is that men have a different biological instinct to women, and we're prepared to suffer for the greater good. Women are not very good at suffering. Men are good sufferers.
Look back at the wars. There's so much evidence of it.
Well, of course. And also, let's just look at the normal family. You talked about these men who come and see you, right?
Yeah.
But happy wife, happy life is true. And the reason it's true is because if the wife is unhappy, everyone's miserable because she'll make sure of it. But if the man's unhappy, everyone else can be happy. He'll suffer. He'll sit with no sex. He'll go to work every day.
Yeah.
He won't see his friends. He'll be miserable. He'll be depressed. He'll still pay the bills. He'll still pay the taxes. And everyone else gets to be happy. Men are good at suffering. Women are spiteful sufferers. And for that reason, they struggle to do anything. They struggle to suffer themselves for any greater good. Men have always died for a greater good. Men have always said, this is bad for me, but it's good for society. Bonnie just quite correctly, quite pertinently highlighted the fact that she believes in living her life the best way that she wants to live so she is happy. And I agree with you. That's what you should do. That's fine. Because you're a woman. That's how women think. Women don't think I shouldn't do this because I care about society by and large. Women don't think that way. And once you understand that logic, you can extrapolate that out to the fact that women shouldn't be in charge of a country ever. Because women are not prepared to take a bullet for a country ever.
I mean, I guess I contradict myself a little bit because I help society out a lot. And I do that because do you see how many dicks I drain? How many balls I've been emptied out on my face? How many cream pies I've taken and scooped it out? Like,
And how does that help society?
sex workers help, like, reduce rape rates by over 30%.
That sound like a stat you just made up.
No, Google it.
Yeah, that's probably true. Mental health, it's good for mental health as well. It
The true
men
fact is
killing
32%.
Yeah, stops men killing themselves, sex workers. Sex work's an important part of the world.
So imagine, like, if you're
Are you
a
saying that
rapist.
because you had a webcam business?
I'm not saying that because I had a webcam business. I'm saying that because it's absolutely and utterly true. The only point I was making earlier about women being in charge, I was actually trying to get to a final point. And the final point I would argue is that Bonnie has done no damage to society compared to giving the women the vote.
I've basically been a community worker.
Absolutely.
For example,
do you vote?
No, to be honest, I don't really know what's going on in the
Okay,
world.
so do you vote?
No.
Okay, she's perfect. she's out here. She's sucking
Iron
dick.
wife material.
She's sucking dick. She's not voting. This is the kind of women we need. This is done. This is fine. If we stop women, we take the women's vote away. If you said to me, Andrew, fix society, all the women can either vote or be like Bonnie. I'd be like, make them all like Bonnie. Give the men the vote back. We'll fix all country.
Even your daughter.
Yeah. Why would she need to vote? I'm voting. Why would she need to vote when I'm voting? You're going to vote against your father. What kind of world is that? You know, it's really interesting to me. since I had daughters, and I have a bunch, people always say, when you get a daughter, you're going to change your opinions. No, I fucking didn't. When you have a daughter, you know, you see these dudes and they have a daughter and like the daughter's putting makeup on and they're like, girl dad. Just because you have a girl doesn't mean you become gay.
I think that's cute though.
No, but no, she's never going to put makeup on my face. I'm never going to be like, oh, my daughter wants, so I guess I just
you sound
gave
like
it.
a farmer
She melts my heart. No, you're going to obey me because I am your parent and you are my child. My child can't vote against me ever. That's civil war. That's against the rules that's against the just working of the universe, sir. For me to have a certain opinion and my own offspring to have countering opinions. You think I'm going to be sitting at some fucking dinner table in 20 years and my daughter or my sons, any of them, are going to be there arguing with me about anything. Actually, in school, I learned, you better shut the fuck up because you're in my fucking house. It's my mansion. It's the Tate millions. You're living on my money. You're going to do as I fucking say.
Until they're 18 or they move out?
If they want to completely cut me off and build their own version of life, I guess they could do that, but they won't do that. That's impossible.
It's how you bring them up. Like when they're 18, yes, they're an adult, but it's how you brought them up.
Of course.
Like my parents brought me up.
Do you have kids though?
No, I don't.
No.
But like my parents, I mean, everyone says my parents can't love me. My family must have disowned me. It's not the case. My family brought me up to be independent and live my best life, how I want to live. And as much as people think that is so shameful, that's disgusting, like my life's become so much better and I'm happy. As much as people think I should be scarred, I could kill myself and everything else, it's like, I am happy. I genuinely live a much better life. So my family are nothing but proud of me. So
Are you really happy?
Really, really happy. Happy and wet
when you're
most of the
alone,
time.
you're happy.
She's not voting. She's great. This is what we need. Do you want to be prime minister or not really?
No.
See? Done, bro. This is it. This is what we need in society. Honest about their sex work, because all women out here are sex working anyway. When's the last? You've been in Dubai recently.
Yeah.
Find a woman who ain't sex working. That is a challenge, sir. $1 million to find a woman who ain't living off a man. Because that is sex work. You giving sex and she's giving you money. That's the game. I tweeted
It's actually so true. I've never thought of it like that.
I
Like,
tweeted
when
this.
people are boyfriend and girlfriends, the
It's sex
majority of the
work.
time they do a low-paid job. They've not got the education to do anything better. So, and they're having sex with the partners, keep them interested. The partner's paying the bills. It's a sex work with one client. just like you said.
100%. I said this. I tweeted it, and the whole world lost its mind because you know me. I'm a provocateur. But I said, yeah, women are sex workers. You can either have a bunch of customers with OnlyFans, or you can have one customer called a husband or boyfriend. Or you can be ugly, and unfortunately, then you got to get a job. But if you're pretty enough, you don't do that. You find a boyfriend or a husband or a sugar daddy, whatever you want to call him, and he's paying your bills. Go to Saint-Tropez, Monaco, Cannes, go to Miami, go to Dubai, go to Hong Kong, go to any of these cities and find a beautiful woman and ask her job. She either doesn't work because her boyfriend takes care of her, or she has some bullshit vanity project which loses money that her husband pays for. Owns a flower shop that loses money each month. Great. Businesswoman, independent. Bullshit. Women have only ever been sex workers. Women have only ever translated their pussy into money, or pussy into provision, or pussy into protection. That's all women have ever done. Let's talk about the ancient days. When the ancient whoever's, the tribe, got conquered by another tribe. You're sitting around, there's 100 men, there's 100 women, the 100 men go out to war, they lose, the conquering tribe comes and takes over the ground, takes over the women. What do the women do? Here's some pussy, don't kill me. Please.
It's not 1500 anymore.
No, but it doesn't matter. That's what that's all they've ever done. And I'm telling you now, you know you watch Hunger Games and there's fucking Katniss Evergreen running around with her bullshit fucking bow and arrow. When World War III finally comes, you're just going to see a whole bunch of women hooking. That's all they're going to do. They're like, shit, World War III, I need money. I need a man who can protect me. Here's some pussy. Anyone?
I would have fucked Hitler to survive.
Of course. Women will fuck anyone to survive. Look at France in World War II. You hear about the war brides? They all had their heads shaved. You don't know about this? Oh, you didn't know. I'll tell you. The Nazis kicked the fuck out of all the French. Then the Nazi soldiers turn up to Paris. Nazi soldiers have money. Average French man, he either lost in war, lost a leg, and has no money. He's a brokey. The Nazi guy, he's got money. He's got the German Deutschmark. He's got a nice uniform. He's a winner. All the French women were fucking the Nazis. They killed their husband. They're fucking the next guy a year later. Why? Because he can provide, he can protect. They give him status. They get to go out and party. They all had their heads shaved afterwards once the Americans kicked the Germans out of France.
I would have been bold straight away.
Well, there you go. This is what women do. Women say, okay, let me look at the world. I'm not as strong as a man. I'm not as determined as a man. I'm not as intelligent as a man. I can't do any of these things men can do. What's the one differentiator I have? Pussy. So let me turn my pussy into what I want. That's not a bad thing. That's just understanding the world, right?
Do you think this is a positive message for society?
I'm not here giving any messages. I am a commentator, sir.
I'd say if anything, it's factual.
A commentator give messages.
I'm a commentator, sir. I see the I'm not playing football. I'm commentating on the game. That's all I'm doing.
And people are listening to you.
Well, they're listening to me commentate. I'm telling everyone how it works.
Everything we've said you'd learn in history at school. Everything we're saying is factual. It's
What
not. We're not
what
just
would you
saying.
learn in history at school about?
Well, I didn't really listen
sleeping
too
with
much at
people?
school, but yeah, I learned at school that people had their head shaved.
Yeah.
Like you learn about what happened at the war, and that happened. That's factual. You didn't ever learn at school. Oh, the women went to war. No, of course they didn't. They stayed at home. They cooked. They had the house ready. Like so, it stayed the same. Everything we're saying is factual.
Yeah, like Rob.
What Andrew Tate is doing right now is actually supervillain level of genius. He's being sarcastic enough and trolling enough to destroy feminism without saying overtly all of the negative viral things that he's ever said in regards to feminism. He's aligning with feminism and demonstrating how it's the downfall of society, demonstrating how, women's biological imperative, and he's exaggerating enough to have viral components of this interview hit virality, utilizing real world examples. And the craziest shit on top of all of this is that Bonnie Blue is they're in agreement throughout the entire conversation. So he's saying something that is utterly ridiculous, knowing damn well that he want his own daughter to become a part of this, yet demonstrating how damaging or ridiculous the ideology is. And then you have the world's most popular S worker just, yeah, you're right. Because this is actually genius. He's effectively humiliating her while also making her think that he's on her side. Absolutely brilliant. 4D chess move.
Incorrect. And the reason I'm saying all these things is to highlight how it's awfully hypocritical for anybody in modern Western society, anybody who believes in women's liberation, anyone who believes women should be allowed to vote, anyone who believes in women are allowed to lead a country, anyone who listens to their wife's stupid opinions on anything, to give Bonnie a second of hard time. Because it's all the same thought pattern. It's all the same thought process. If you're a man who says, I have a wife and we got married when she was a virgin and she doesn't vote and she obeys me absolutely and I'm the king of this household, then maybe you could have an opinion. But if you're going to sit there and go, oh, my wife has a past, but I love her anyway, then shut the fuck up. And that's 99% of men. Rob, do you understand that about 3 times a week I see a woman I've plowed get married on Instagram? You understand? I see it. I see the man walking down the aisle holding her hand, doing the whole humiliation ritual. I see the whole thing. He got on one knee. And I just watch it. I was like, bro, what the fuck?
But I don't think there's anything wrong with that, though.
No, but there is.
But why?
Because I know what happened that night.
Yeah, but people
so
have
it is.
Fucked.
Well, aren't you under investigation for things like that?
Give a fuck. But the point is this. If that man's going to go, everyone has a past, then who is he to comment on anything else? Because her past was me, sir.
So are all of your girlfriends virgins before you?
Well, here's where you have to, as a man, do your best to find a woman, if you want to take her seriously, with as little history as possible, if that's the kind of thing that bothers you.
And does it bother you?
Well, it depends.
I mean, surely your best place to go then is high school.
Well, we have to be careful. I'm under investigation here. But it depends because there's different categories of women. Mm-hmm. Right? Everything in life is actually fine if you keep everything in the right place. If you use a fork for forking and a spoon for spooning, everything's fine. It only gets confusing when you try and mix the two up. All men love whores. Men love whores.
We've got good technique.
Of course. Any man who sits there and says...
Do you love whores then?
Any man who says he doesn't love whores is a f***ing liar.
So you love whores?
Well, if I'm on a boat in Miami, I don't want
Would
nuns.
you prefer a blowjob with your teeth or the mouth? You need someone with experience.
Well, if you want girls who are just a good time, they're not going to be that emotionally invested. They're probably going to be sluts. If you're going to go to a party with 20 women, you want women who are just a good time. Good time women are hoes and men love hoes. But men want the dichotomy because we want our cake and eat it. We want a wife and we want hoes and we want both. It only gets confusing for a man when he puts them in the wrong category. What will happen is a man will meet a hoe, fall in love with her because he can't control himself, and then try and say, oh, no, she's wifey because he's in love with her because he's an idiot. But if you're me and you can sit and go, okay, that one's a good one. She's wifey. Those are the hoes. They're this. And you just keep everything in its right place. It's fine.
So Bonnie's a hoe.
I don't want to insult Bonnie Blue.
You can't insult me.
I mean, you called her a hoe when I last talked to you.
No, I said she was a whore. And
I said, what's the difference between a
Big
hoe and a
difference.
whore?
well, there is a big difference because whores get paid. And whores are actually a much higher social standing than a hoe because hoes are fucking dumb and they're doing it for free.
Yeah.
Whores make money. So I think she's
I
a
didn't
whore.
know that difference.
Well, now you do.
Now I do.
I always say
So-
people can call me a prostitute, slut, slag, whore, whatever. I don't care. Like, you just can't insult me. Like, I own it. Whatever word you want to call me, whether you
But
say I'm
it's not even
disgusting.
insulting. It's just a factual description.
Yeah.
It's a factual description.
If anything, it turns me on.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's why she's so good at her job.
By the time you finish calling me a whore, I'm going to leave this chair with a wet patch.
Well, there you go. That's why she's so good at her job. I have that effect anyway. But the point I'm making here is any man who sits and goes, "Oh, I hate whores, I hate hoes," that's all a fucking lie. There's scenarios in which they're very welcome and very liked. But there's scenarios in which they're not. So everyone has their standing in life. Everyone has their place in life.
Yeah.
Bonnie, even I would argue, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but you can correct me. Bonnie will have sex with one man, or have sex with a certain type of man, or have sex with whoever, but she'd marry a different type of man. To marry someone is different than having sex with someone. You wouldn't just marry anyone, would you? You'd have to kind of like him.
Yeah, for sure. It'd be completely different. Like, I generally have sex with anyone of legal age, but if I'm thinking of marriage, it's completely different.
Okay, so even in Bonnie's mind, there are
What?
people she treats a certain way and respects in a certain way, and there's people she has sex with without any emotional attachment. That's exactly how it is as a man. There's a woman you'll treat a certain way and have a certain amount of feeling for, and there's women you just...
Yeah.
That's it.
He's got a point.
Everything's actually fine. Men saying they hate whores and they hate all this, that's all a fucking lie. Men love whores in the right scenario. So you're asking me, my girlfriends, well, I mean, it depends. If you catch me on a boat, if you catch me on my yacht with 25 women, are they all virgins? No. But do I have children from some virgins? Yes.
If you ever host a virgin party, count me in.
How would you get into a virgin party?
Well, no, but
Let
I'd
me
be there.
just pause it right there. Actually, what Andrew just said was probably one of the most important things for young men to realize within this entire conversation. Because I think that, and I also think like a major component of my content specific to the audience of men that are watching is I think that due to, our current situation of overmothering, underfathering, the current situation of normalizing not necessarily Bonnie blues, but kind of normalizing being sexually liberated within society, women dressing up however they want upon the digital social medias or what have you. Men are incorrectly putting, a woman in a woman category who is a wife versus a hoe. They have been incorrectly doing it. They are not privy to the red flags. They treat all women the same, rose-colored glasses, so much to the extent of I will watch men show up to a club or a bar and then a girl that they hugging up on is goddamn half naked with her damn areolas showing and her ass cheeks out. And he thinks that that is a flex. That just goes to show you how confused some of these young men are. So without you purposefully understanding if a woman is a fork versus a woman is a spoon versus if a woman is a knife, right? You got to categorize them correctly before you ever take them seriously. That was a fantastic point. Let's listen to just a little bit more.
To take the virginities. I'm obsessed with it.
Why are you obsessed with taking boys' virginities?
Well, just
What?
like how Andrew likes 18-year-olds.
Wait,
Okay.
careful.
Careful.
Careful now.
Sorry, should I go
I'm
younger?
under investigation. What I have said.
Andrew, 18 is a legal age. I don't know what you class as legal.
No,
but
18 is legal. You're right.
Yeah.
But the reason actually, and it's interesting you said this, but the reason men prefer younger women is because they have less history. That's why. The
Yeah.
average 22-year-old has lived less life than the average 30-year-old. That's why men prefer younger women in general. But sorry to interrupt you, but I'm just clarifying because everything gets clip farmed and before you know it, I'm back in handcuffs.
So not 18, 19. But I'd happily take an 18-year-old on their birthday. Like
Why?
closer to 18. I just want them, to be young, innocent. I want to strip them from that. I
Yeah,
want to
steal
take their
their
innocence.
innocence.
I want to watch
Like
their
Shang Tsung.
toes curl up as they come for the first time from a girl. Like, I love that. And I also think it's educational. So I'm obsessed
How's
with
it
it.
educational?
You think about sex education at school. It's from a middle-aged teacher that's not been laid. And they basically say you have sex or you're probably going to die from an STD. There's no information. If anything, they should whip up one of my DVDs, put it on screen and show, look, that's how the dick enters the pussy. This is how you get a girl wet. There's none of that. So me having sex with them shows this is a woman's body. Yes, a woman's, Andrew, not trans. And
I don't think you're trans.
and
We'll come to that.
they don't know how to pleasure a girl. They've not touched a girl. They've just watched videos, online. where they're slapping, they're choking, they're hair pulling, and then they go to do it on a woman or a girl for the first time,
That's
she's
terrible.
probably going to cry the next day.
Yeah, you're probably going to get a criminal charge of that. You're probably going to
Yeah.
get sued if that happens. This time.
Probably talk from experience there, but
By the way, I don't think that she actually believes. Look at Andrew's face. I don't think that she actually believes any of this. I mean, the level of cope to believe that having a dude do it with you is somehow you've got thousands of bodies, right? Like to do it with you is somehow educating them is absolutely absurd to me. But I think that what's actually happening here is that it's a marketing tactic, right? So she'll say barely legal as a way to propagate her content more, right? Have more of these people up on the social medias do content about her, right? It's just a marketing ploy. And it's one that she's acting as if she actually believes in order to get more dollars from it. When you watch content like this, really breaking down why you are, right? Like, and it's because it's entertaining. And it's entertaining because, you know, they might be going against status quo. But watching her try to explain it like this, while Tate is playing 4D chess right here, right? Like, because he's turning it back on her with all of his sarcasm and all of his trolling, while also saying no to certain things that could get him in even more trouble. I just think it is so entertaining. It is so fascinating. But guys, listen, I think that this is a good place here to stop the content. But again, what I find so interesting is that, you know, if you look at the demeanor of the guy that's hosting the podcast, you could tell that he went in there thinking that this was going to be Andrew Tate versus Bonnie Blue, right? Andrew talking about how she's ridiculous, Bonnie Blue defending herself and then trying to flip the script as much as possible. And he came in what I essentially call the Charleston White method, right? Be as egregious as what you can, troll as much as what you can, put it in content form so that you can hold a mirror up to what is actually happening or the ridiculousness that we have allowed the clown word society to get into. I'm gonna leave a link to the content down in the description box down below. We're about 25% through of it. So go up there, finish out the content. Let me know what you guys think about it as well. And also I wanna leave you guys with this question. We got influencers, right? We got content creators like her that is propagated all throughout our media. We got the current marriage rate, divorce rate. We got the single mother rate, right? Single father rate. We know that 25% of women are gonna get married throughout their lifetime. What do you guys think about all of this, right? We know corn is going into the AI realm, which is going to get crazy here in a couple of years. What do you guys all think of this? Do you think that we will never see the population growth or the family building that we've ever seen within our history before? Or is there some glimmer of hope that we can transition and turn this around? Let me know you guys' thoughts down in the comment box down below. As always, I've been your host, Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
She belongs to the street.
Girl, don't hold my hand. You a mattress actress on the OnlyFans. Get your money, girl, but damn, how is that your only plan? What you gonna do when you get too old to strip and dance? Get up out your echo chamber screaming period and yes. You a low down dirty woman if you try to get knocked up by a high value man.